Hello. In this video, I'm going to show clips from two of the YouTubers I'm plugging. I'm plugging Pro Metal Awakening and I'm plugging Alex Cat, two very good pro metal content makers. So let's see what their videos are all about so I can convince you to sub to them.
There has been a lot of talk about how feminism infantilizes women. When they say that only men are responsible for drunk sex, or how low female participation in STEM fields require female-specific quotas and designated budgets to equalize the numbers. However, the reality is that these are completely irrational efforts in order to achieve female group interests. It may not be consistent, but it is rational. When women demand more females be appointed CEOs or demand female-specific quotas in high-paying office jobs, and not in other sectors such as garbage collection or oil rigs, it is a very deliberate and rational choice to favor female interests. It has absolutely nothing to do with equality or any other gaslighting terms these people might hide under. The real infantilization, however, does not come from feminists or women. It comes from men. Men seem to have this limitless consideration and leeway when it comes to outright hostile and violent female provocation. When some woman on Twitter says that all men need to die or all men need to be castrated, and these tweets get hundreds upon thousands of likes and retweets with little to no pushback from women, it is clear as day that women as a group are simply against the well-being of men. Reverse the situation and imagine a man saying something slightly unsavory about women on a public platform, and the pushback he would get from other men alone would be magnitudes greater than anything women's outright call for mass male genocide ever got, from men and women combined. If tomorrow some group threatened to fly a plane into the White House, the Americans would not try to rationalize this and make excuses for this group and do nothing or even defend them. They would consider them a threat, an enemy, and rightfully so. Well, it's time for men to start doing the same. It's time for men to start taking women seriously when they make outright violent provocations against men, and stop scapegoating and rationalizing this as just the talk of those crazy feminists or fringe lunatics. Even if your average woman does not herself identify as a feminist or say these things, she is nowhere to be seen when it comes to defending men against these violent provocations as men do for women, even in the case of imagined provocations, which leads me to the conclusion that the average woman holds just as much contempt for men as these so-called crazy feminist men like to scapegoat so much. Men need to stop living in denial and come to terms with reality. If we are to make any kind of positive change for men in the world and solve the issues that men as a group face, the first step has to be to identify the problems, and women as a group being against the well-being of men is one of the biggest problems that men refuse to even acknowledge. It is time for that to change.
I have a new petition started against the United Nations World Health Organization, or WHO for short, for their latest attack on boys, which is that they're calling for countries to suspend vaccination of boys against the human papillomavirus, or HPV, until all girls can get it first? If you feel enraged and unjust at this like I do, please sign this petition and spread the word. The link is in the description. We need to start raising a voice against the World Health Organization, because this isn't the first time the org have been jerking the male sex around. Before this, the World Health Organization have been promoting male genital mutilation throughout the third world as a quack preventative against HIV and numerous other diseases, including HPV, but violating the rights of men and boys. So, as you can see on the WHO's own website, the World Health Organization speaks of compelling evidence that butchering men reduces the risk of heterosexually acquired HIV infection in men by approximately 60%. Of course, they use the 60% figure of the debunked randomized control trials in Africa. I mean, it's not like they stopped those trials early to minimize the period their circumcised pool of men were able to have sex and therefore risk STDs. These circumcised men had to wait 8 weeks for their mutilation scars to close while the tests were going on.
I want to plug 2 new content makers. Their channels are new and they've just started making content recently, but their videos are very good. I would appreciate if you subscribe to them. The pro-male cause is not hopeless because the pro-male army is growing slowly but surely. We're gaining traction on Reddit. My blog is gaining views, and countless pro-male men contribute to it. At least 9 different people have written articles for it. The best way to gain traction is to recruit men, give them a pro-male understanding of the world, give them a correct ideological understanding of the world, and encourage them to make content. Because if they make content, it'll gain more attention from people, and then they can be converted and trained to make content. Too many male spaces have got a faulty ideological understanding of the world. They suffer from a false consciousness. They want a scapegoat, they're obsessed over women, they're too right wing, or in 1 or 2 cases they're too left wing, strangely enough, or they're too Marxist. Like, we had a Marxist in our group like 4 months ago. He didn't like feminists. He had to leave because he was just too obsessed with degeneracy and relationships and stopping people having sex and nonsense like that. We've got to put an end to the nonsense and focus on what matters. Until men can do that, men are going to be in a bad situation. But I do honestly believe a bit of pushback, men can get things changed in their favour. That's all for now. More videos to come. We will fight misandry and we will win. We'll crush misandry and we'll throw it in the dustbin of history. No, we won't just throw it in the dustbin of history. We'll throw misandry into the bonfire of history. Burn it.